And so we are up and running at Leigh Sports Village, and thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. I'm Max Jones, alongside me is Luke Chambers, and Luke, it's a huge chance today for these two sides to lay down a marker at this very early point in the season.
Yeah, absolutely, and with Chelsea winning earlier on, it's a real chance for them to sort of re-engage that rivalry that picked up at the start, going into the end of last season, chasing that second spot. So it's one they'll really want to come out on top, and they'll be right up for the game, both of the sides.
Tizier looking long, Mallard in behind. She's the form striker for United. She goes for goal early, and it's beaten away by Van Domselaar. She wants a handball, Mallard. Kirsty Dow shakes her head, but less than a minute into this game, Manchester United with a huge chance to catch Arsenal napping.
It was just a simple ball over the top from Le Tissier, really, really well weighted, and I think the back four were hoping Van Domselaar was going to come out and sweep it up, but a real chance for Man United early on.
Arsenal have trailed in each of their opening two games, but on both occasions have come from behind to claim victory. They won't want to make that a feature of this campaign. Mark Skinner's 91st game in charge. He's chasing his 55th WSL win this afternoon. Of all the coaches who have managed 20 or more games, only René Slegers and Sonia Bonpastor have a better win rate. Of course, he does have a much larger sample size. Russo leaves it for Ford. Can power away through the United midfield. Finding Smith. Joined very quickly by Sandberg. There is the Canadian again. Switch of play from Catley, picks out Emily Fox. He is able to squeeze the cross into the penalty area, and it's stopped to safety by Hinata Miyazawa.
Yeah, that'll settle Arsenal down really, really quickly now, especially with that early chance for Mallard, and just to have a bit more control in the first couple of minutes is exactly what René Slegers will have wanted from her team.
Two. Looking for that ball into the channel for Mallard to chase. Instead, it's reached first by the teenager Katie Reid, still preferred as deputy cover for Leah Williamson, who remains out with that knee injury. She has had a very promising start to her senior career, Katie Reid. Still just 18 years old, Leah Williamson says she is exceptional and will one day take her shirt on a more permanent basis. First full season this for René Slegers, having guided Arsenal to their second Champions League title. I did wonder how the reshuffle in this Manchester United side would look once we saw the team sheets come out. Mark Skinner electing to use Celine Bizet as an emergency right-back. We did wonder whether it would be Fridolina Rolfo. Of course, she played at full-back for Barcelona. She's able to be a bit more adventurous in her play this afternoon, the Swede. One back by Zagiotti. And Mallard. Zagiotti, a willing runner from midfield. Now Toon. Trying to shrug off Reed, and Russo was back there helping out defensively. Quick feet from Bizet. Toon's delivery into the area, and Kim Little was under a bit of pressure from Melvin Mallard. Arsenal will settle for the throw-in. Bit more pressure from Manchester United.
Yeah, it's how quickly they turn that defence into attack. A bit sloppy playing central midfield for Arsenal, and they're able to jump and get away down that right-hand side. And I think if they can make the most of those opportunities with Mallard turning and driving forward and playing people in down the right-hand side, it's going to cause Arsenal real problems.
Bit of space here for Emily Fox. It's a searching ball looking for Olivia Smith, but Sandberg made sure that it was a routine claim for Fallon Tullis-Joyce. Joint winner, of course, of last season's WSL Golden Glove. Already has one clean sheet to her name so far this season. Rolfo. Can bring Park into play. Enough Arsenal players between Jess Park and the goal. Arsenal have won 2 of their last 3 meetings with Manchester United, and of course they had the benefit of a week's break between games as well. Manchester United, meanwhile, were in European action on Thursday night, but just wondering whether they will still be riding high, having made history by qualifying for the Champions League for the very first time in this club's young history. Ford spotted Smith on the move, ever so slightly ahead of her.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and just the execution is a little bit off from Ford, but I think they're going to look to get the ball out to Smith as quickly as they possibly can. It's really good play to get out from that left-hand side and then look to switch just the angle of the ball, and it zips off the surface. But we had one instance earlier where Fox is driving down the right-hand side and tried to slip it inside Sandberg, when early on you want to see Smith get the ball to feet so she can at least try and see what she can do, test Sandberg early on and try and create a bit more pressure.
Has already got off the mark in an Arsenal shirt, Olivia Smith, since moving from Liverpool, and it was with the Reds that she actually scored twice in a win over Manchester United last season. Round of applause that you can hear echoing around the stadium in the 8th minute is remembering Maddie Cusack, former Sheffield United midfielder who sadly passed away. It is the anniversary of her death. Fox. Again, punched into the feet of Olivia Smith, but once more, Sandberg standing tall.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a real interesting duel for us this afternoon, and that's the one I was asking for. Can you get it to Smith's feet early and see what she can do? But it's a chance for you to keep the ball now in Manchester United's half in this bottom corner.
Caldenti being asked to play a bit more of a deeper role for the Gunners this afternoon. Fox and Ford not quite on the same wavelength, and neither were the Manchester United defenders.
It's always a difficult one when you don't get the shout and the ball comes in, and you just feel if there's no real clear communication, you just have to deal with it. And I think in the end, Laetitia felt that that's the only option she had.
Blackstenius, a neat turn under pressure. Away at the near post by Laetitia. And Arsenal will retrieve. Again, Blackstenius trying to pull Janssen away from her own goal, but the Dutch defender has done well. Former gunner, of course. She was in the last Arsenal team that did win the WSL back in 2019, Dominique Janssen. Made 100 appearances all in all for the Gunners before leaving the club.
It's an interesting setup so far in the first 10 minutes. It's Arsenal are really going high press, front foot, almost using Russo and Blackstenius to get and set the press early on in Manchester United's half. Whereas when Arsenal are having the ball and building up, United seem to be quite comfortable with just sitting in on the halfway line. So a real interesting difference of approach here. You see the numbers push forward for Arsenal, not allowing them to bring the ball out, just waiting for that first pass to move and then shifting across to then try and trap Man United.
Tizio trying to play through the press. Here's Mallard. There's Park with her to her outside. Infield is Ella Toon, and she was beaten to it by Olivia Smith. Good tracking back. Letizier encouraged to step out of defence. Finding Bizet. Nice play by Park. In comes the ball. Oh, it's been spilled by Van Domselaar, and Toon's there. Last-ditch defending by the Gunners, and somehow they managed to deny Manchester United.
Real opportunity there. It's a great bit of play down the right-hand side from Zigiotti, and a great ball in for Bizet. Mallard doesn't get onto it, but it's the pressure, I think, on Van Domselaar, where she just spills it, and there's a real opportunity for Manchester United to take the lead there. I think it's almost like it comes out of the sun, a little slip from Van Domselaar, just spills it, but it's really brave and strong defending in the end by Arsenal.
If you're listening closely at home, you may have heard Katie McCabe just saying when the ball goes into that shaded area with the sun, it is very difficult for the players to see, and perhaps, as you rightly pointed out, Chamber, that might be what caused the issue there. Saw Mariona Caldente have a slightly loose touch as well to put the ball out of play before then.
Well, you saw from the kickoff and from the toss of the coin, the match had turned round, so the team switched sides because the sun is certainly playing a part. And I think the only way you can put that down to that mistake from Van Domselaar there is the slip, but also it's coming out of that sun into that shaded area, and maybe just a slight misjudgment of the flight of the ball, but a real let-off there for Arsenal.
Good. Justina, go on then! Good, Liv!
Sandberg. Toon up towards Mallard. Catley appeals for offside, and she is eventually granted the reprieve of the referee's whistle.
And you heard the high press shouts from the side on Arsenal's bench, and it is just offside, but they're the risks versus the reward. If you want to go and high press, try and put the pressure on Manchester United to make them make those mistakes in their half, it then leaves such space. And with Mallard in the form that she is at the moment, it's a real difficult and dangerous one. So if she times her run again better next time, that's a 1v1 situation in almost half of the pitch, which is not what Arsenal want to be defending from.
She is such a lively forward, Melvin Mallard. 4 goals in her opening 2 games, a brace in each. Today, actually, she does have the opportunity to become the first player to score at least twice in each of her first 3 WSL games of the season. For now, it's her defensive colleagues who are having to pay close attention as Arsenal come forward once more. Blackstenius. Arsenal quite happy to wait it out as they play the ball from left to right and then back again, and that releases Emily Ford into acres of space. And the loose ball is stumped to safety by Anna Sandberg. It's a patient, probing game that the Arsenal players are quite happy to be playing.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, Manchester United are just sitting in that shape now, sort of taking their reference from the press on the red line that's sitting on the pitch. And any time the Arsenal have the ball inside their half, they're almost allowing them to have it. But it's a real dangerous problem, because you get runners like this down the side and they cause problems.
McCabe, the first foray forward. Mallard. Striker drops deep now and is able to thread one through, and it's Ella Toon running onto it, but Katie Reid is incredibly quick across the ground, stretching those long legs to get there ahead of the England midfielder.
Absolutely fantastic defending from Katie Reid, and we saw that earlier. Mallard tried to test her down the right-hand channel, and this time she sensed the danger, covered across on that left-hand side and dealt with it. Not just kicked it out as well, kept possession for her side. Fantastic.
Little on a surging run of her own. Smith's ball in, and it's claimed by Tullis Joyce.
Absolutely brilliant bit of play down the right-hand side as well. Lovely weighted ball through to Smith, just waited for the right opportunity, and she gets in behind Sandberg there and just can't bring the ball out enough alongside that 6-yard box. You call that the corridor of uncertainty as you're going through your paces as a young player, and just left it too close to Tullis Joyce there, but she gathered it well.
It's good work initially by Jess Park, ever so slightly behind Ella Toon. It has been a pretty open first 20 minutes here. Both sides looking to exploit the channels. Toon getting a bit too close to Kim Little. More direct this time from Fox. Blackstenius forced away from goal. She's a strong defender, Dominique Janssen. She showed it again there.
Yeah, just that little nudge as Blackstenius is trying to get the ball underneath. It can really unnerve an attacker and just give you that extra bit of time that you need to put them off their stride, and that's happened a couple of times down this right-hand side. But it's something that Blackstenius is looking to do, run down this right-hand side and try and bring her side up the pitch.
Caldente. Reid urged forward. Smith. Able to earn Arsenal their first corner.
I think that's the key. Get Smith the ball down this right-hand side. Sandberg's done well. She's standing up to the task, especially when Smith's getting it to her feet. But again, it's Reed stepping out from the back, bringing the ball forward. She's looking very, very accomplished and confident in this. Such a big fixture for someone so young. So in terms of what Williams has said, she's looking a real prospect for Arsenal.
She adds height as well from these set-piece situations. There's Katie Reed. Curled in towards that near post area. And they get a second bite at the cherry, Arsenal. Caldente away from Park. A shooting opportunity now for Smith off the crossbar. Well, we saw exactly what she was capable of in the opening game of the season. Olivia Smith very nearly had a second Arsenal goal.
Yeah, it's brilliant play on the second ball, and Smith gets the shot off, and she's claiming for a corner because she thinks Tullis-Joyce has got a hand to it, and I'm not sure if she did. It looks like it's almost taken two deflections, potentially one off Letitia, and it looks like a fantastic save from Tullis-Joyce, but it keeps Manchester United in the game.
And once again, Arsenal finding joy through the boots of Olivia Smith. Still just 21 years old, by the way. The WSL's first £1 million player. She really has hit the ground running in an Arsenal shirt. Kirsty Dow, so far, hasn't had too much to get involved with. It's been pretty free-flowing in the first half of this first half. Here's our rolled out to Sandberg. And now Rolfo. Has been relatively quiet so far on her full Manchester United debut. A couple of substitute appearances for her in the top flight and in European qualifying as well. Here she is. Friedlina Rolfo holding off Kim Little. Bizet met by Caitlin Ford. Arsenal not in any particular hurry to break forward. That is a wild swipe of a clearance from Daphne van Domselaar, who is yet to keep a clean sheet this season, was actually at fault for West Ham United's looping opening goal. Last time out, it took a wild deflection off her on the way through via the post, and then West Ham took the lead before Arsenal fought back in the second half. Hasn't looked too comfortable in this game, the Arsenal goalkeeper.
No, a couple of moments, obviously spilt the first shot cross on goal, and then just a little bit of pressure, but that's the first time Manchester United put any pressure on Arsenal in terms of higher up the pitch, and that's the first sort of time in the match so far, 22, 23 minutes, where they've had some controlled possession inside Arsenal's half. So that'll give them some encouragement, and I think they know down this right-hand side, with Bizet and Park especially, they're causing some problems. Here we go, one here.
Off she goes again. Celine Bizet will get there first. Rolfo was arriving late into the area. It took a ricochet of Steph Catley, and it will be a Manchester United corner.
It's a good bit of play down the right-hand side again. It's almost just a simple ball, but what they're doing is Bizet is starting deeper, And Park's then rolling just inside, and it's allowing a bit more space for Bizet to just get ahead of speed up, and any balls in behind then. McCabe's done well on a couple of occasions just to stop the cross, but a real ploy that Manchester United seem to be using here.
United still yet to score a goal from a corner kick this season. Anna Sandberg looking to change that. Swung in by the Swede, nodded on at the near post. Van Domselaar didn't get there at the first attempt, got there at the second. Reed out for Rousseau, who can help that one round the corner. Now Smith. Fox won't get there ahead of Sandberg, but again, it was a decent idea from Caitlin Ford on the swivel.
Yeah, it's a really good bit of play from Arsenal. And again, Manchester United are caught between whether they go all-out press with everyone involved or just they're going in little drips and drabs, ones and twos, and they're not really getting tight enough to Arsenal. And they've got that little bit of extra pace where they can just get away from the pressure and play through those lines. And it's a real good chance for them to get in behind again.
Blackstenius trying to find Smith. Again, it is the hustling and harrying that forces United into a hurried clearance. "27 minutes in then, and a chance to send Katie Reed forward again. Rousseau, Blackstenius, the obvious targets in there as well. Can McCabe do better than her last delivery? Curled in. Thomas Joyce chose to stay on her line, and Smer Letizier ensured it didn't get close to her.
Yeah, it was definitely a better delivery to the front post and just getting across. It looked like it was a goal kick in the end, but Arsenal were obviously certainly claiming for a corner. But Letizier got well, watched the run, and then they regained possession.
Is Sandberg. Still goalless between the league's highest scorers this season. Manchester United have actually been the WSL's fastest starters this campaign, scoring twice in the opening 15 minutes of games and then twice more in the first 15 minutes following half-time. Whereas both of the goals that Arsenal have conceded this season have come in the opening 30 minutes of matches, so sure Slagers will have been aware of that particular statistic. Arsenal are trying to keep things a little bit tighter, but that doesn't suggest that Manchester United haven't had their opportunities, because they have, most notably within the opening minute.
Yeah, they've had a couple of scares, definitely, and real good bit of play early on down the right-hand side, and Mallard had a real chance any closer to the far post, and it's 1-0 Manchester United, and then Van Domselaar spills one, and Arsenal really defend it very well on the turnover of possession. Unfortunately, it stays at 0-0.
Meanwhile, down the other end, Olivia Smith rattling the frame of the goal. And a very well contested game in this opening half hour. Fox. Again, Blackstenius with a head full of steam, charging towards that corner flag. Toon wins it back. Now Mallard, and Manchester United have runners over on that far side. One of them, Jess Park. Zigiotti there with her. Reed getting involved, being dragged to the ground and using her frame really, really well there. Experienced play from the teenager.
That is really good defending again. She gets her body in the way, and it's just on the turn there. She just turns really quickly, and she's just pulled back by Zigiotti, and Mallard thinks she's away. But again, she finds herself out of position on this left-hand side, covering for her teammates, and it's certainly a foul, and she does really, really well again. Just reading the danger so well.
Well, the speculation was that she was preferred to the likes of Lotte Wubben-Moy and Laia Kadina for the opening game against London City Lionesses to deal with the aerial advantage and the pace of Izzy Goodwin. But she did so well in that game. She then held on to her place against West Ham United, did well in that game, and she's excelling here this afternoon. And I think when Leah Williamson does come back, there might just be a fight on to... well, let's say a bit more of a fight on to get that shirt back.
Leah Williamson will certainly be ready for that fight, I'm sure. But no, exactly, it's been on the floor, reading of the game, comfortable in possession, and when there is an issue, she comes across, deals with it with no issues, starts the attack again. So yeah, really impressed. But it shows you, when you're a young player, if you get an opportunity, it's there for you to take it, and she's certainly doing that so far this season.
Just wondering, especially in big games like this, Luke, how quickly are you able to build up the trust of your teammates?
They'll play with you, any young player you come across, and I've been there as a young player, and you know immediately whether you're part of the team or not, and they'll know how good she is, her potential. Their captain's talking her up of how good she is. So I think you know straight away, having trained inside day in, day out, and you'll know her inside and out as her strengths.
Here's Rousseau. Shot charge down. Manchester United have a player down, and eventually Kirsty Dow blows her whistle to get some treatment on. Manchester United not too happy that play was allowed to resume.
I think it's the amount that Sandberg's had to do so far in this first half. I think maybe she needs a rest, but she's sticking to her task very well. I think it's just as she tries to sort of track Smith down this right-hand side, Smith almost checks her run and just catches her just inside the rib cage with her shoulder. I don't think there's too much intent in it. She's just trying to check to create another angle, but certainly one, if you're not expecting it and you take one of those in the ribs, it can certainly knock the wind out of you. But she'll welcome that rest because she's had a busy first half up against Smith, and she's certainly holding her own. She's been very, very solid so far. She could really do with some help a little bit from Rolfo dropping back to maybe stem that tide, which is definitely coming down this right-hand side for Arsenal.
She has looked pretty solid, Anna Sandberg, for a player who this season especially has probably made a name for herself more down the other end of the pitch. She created more chances than any other player last time out against London City Lionesses. What it does do is it gives Mike Skinner a chance to maybe just tweak some of those tactics, spot where the gaps are in his side. Here is the chance for Olivia Smith. What a strike that was, minimal backlift as well.
Yeah, that just shows you the importance of the first touch. The first touch is absolutely everything in this. Look, the outside of her right foot just sets herself 2 steps, and it's just tipped over the bar by Turlis Joyce. And we said it at the time, it's very difficult to see it in real time, but that angle there shows you what a fantastic save it is. And apart from that, it could easily be 1-0 Arsenal. But Smith, we said, she's been really, really sharp from the first whistle, so they need to keep getting her the ball, especially if Sandberg is unable to continue.
Fallon Turlis Joyce, you can see exactly why she was named in the WSL Team of the Year last season. One of 3 Manchester United players to receive that accolade, alongside Mère Letizier, Jade Rivière as well. She actually has the highest save percentage from WSL goalkeepers who have made more than 2 saves this season. That's another one to add to her highlight reel. Seem to remember her making an incredible double save in the Manchester derby as well, as this ball is delivered in towards the penalty spot, cleared by United.
Certainly up there with the best saves of the season so far for me.
Here's Rolfo. All given away by Zigiotti, who was able to just get a last-ditch challenge in there to take the ball outside the area. Manchester United still under pressure. Caitlin Ford. Into the final 10 minutes of this first half. Smith. Shrugs off Rolfo. And another corner.
Brilliant defending again. Sandberg sticking to her task. It finds its way out to Smith, who's such a threat with the change of pace that she's got. But so far, the corners are building up, and this right-hand side is a real problem for Manchester United at the moment.
McCabe trusted once more. Third time the charm. In from McCabe, a bit deeper this time. Katie Reid rose the highest, but couldn't quite make the contact that she intended to.
It's a real good set piece from McCabe on this left-hand side, and it's coming in just to the back post, and Reid misjudges the flight, and it just hits her off the hip, and I think they're claiming for a corner, but we couldn't really see. There's so many bodies around. I think it rolls off Rolfo in the end, and it's a real poor decision, that, from the official.
Second time the officials have denied Arsenal a corner on closer inspection. They are still on the front foot here. Bit of afters between Sandberg and Smith.
Yeah, real bit of rivalry now coming down this left, Manchester United's left and Arsenal's right between these two. Smith and Sandberg really going at it. Be interesting to see the pair of them at the end of the game this afternoon. They're certainly, both of them know they're in a fixture at the moment.
Wondering how many of those exchanges, both physical and verbal, we miss when we watch the game on TV compared to when you're playing on the pitch.
No, I never had any of those at all.
I don't believe you. One back by Manchester United in a promising area, but once again, it was Katie Reid who was well placed to spare her teammates blushes, and it's good work by Caitlin Ford too. Rousseau. I did say earlier, Kirsty Down was doing quite a good job of staying out of the spotlight. Feels as though this last few moments of this first half, she may just need to calm down a few players. Here's Caldente, able to roam forward herself. It's a searching delivery, looking for Stina Blackstenius, who got underneath the ball, which trickles agonisingly wide of that far post.
Yeah, and it comes from that quick free kick, and Caldente finds herself in a real good position, and I think she's trying to curl it onto Blackstenius' head. It's just one that's lofted up, and Tullis-Joyce can't come for it. But I think Blackstenius has misjudged the flight of the ball just coming out of that sun that we mentioned earlier, because it doesn't go over her head by too much and just drifts out, luckily, for a corner, because Tullis-Joyce is on her goal line. She can't really affect the flight of the ball in the end.
A couple of those instances already. Maybe it is just a bit of early season rustiness as well.
Yeah, just a striker's challenge on a centre-half. And then they say, look, what have I done there? And they know exactly what they're doing.
It's only ever a phrase used by defenders, a striker's challenge.
But the big thing for me today has been Arsenal's intensity when they've gone to press Manchester United, and they're forcing mistakes. They're the ones that are really trying to take the game forward. Manchester United are really trying to play off scraps and turnovers of possession, and can they break forward quickly? But Arsenal have certainly had the more control.
They have been successful as well, Manchester United, in keeping Arsenal quiet. Scored 5 times last time out against West Ham United, the Gunners. It's the 5th time that they've done so in the WSL under René Slagers. And that means that they're averaging 3.4 WSL goals per game under the Dutchwoman, which is the best rate for any manager of all time. Again, committed defending by Zigiotti. Park. Bit of space on this left-hand side for the first time for Emma Sandberg. Janssen beaten to it by Blackstenius, and away comes Alessia Russo. Stinging the palms. Fallon Tullis-Joyce. First sight of goal for Arsenal's marksman.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. The pressure from Blackstenius wins the ball back. It's a real good first touch from Russo, and another one is she just can't direct it in the far corner. But this is the difference in between the performances of the two sides. Arsenal are really going for the pressure when the opportunity is there for them to turn over the ball higher up in Manchester United's half. And they're then having more players around that ball that they've won back. Whereas you look now, Manchester United, 4 players around Mallard. They're not going to be able to build anything from that position.
Which indeed is what's happened. Arsenal quite happy to swarm defensively. As you can see, both sides sharing the same number of shots. It's actually Manchester United who have edged it on target. 3-1. Crucially, though, the most important stat right there, top left of the screen as you watch from home. Still goalless here. Arsenal, though, picking up momentum towards the end of this first 45 with Caitlin Ford laid back into the path. Stina Blackstenius, who just couldn't get enough purchase on the ball. They'll try their luck down the right-hand side. Smith, Arsenal's biggest threat in this game. Wins it back. That looks a nasty one for Emily Fox, who is still down, recovering from that. Let's hope it's nothing too serious. Went down at an awkward angle there, the American. Tackles are starting to fly in a bit more now. Van Domselar's clearance, not all too convincing, but effective nonetheless. Fox is back on her feet, which is good. And Arsenal can break again. Ford up against Bizet. Little trying to float one in for Smith. Difficult chance, that one, always heading away from goal.
Yeah, it's a very, very difficult ball, and you haven't really got much time to get it up and over Samba, but Little has been really good in controlling the game for Arsenal, and the weight of the pass is almost perfect for Smith, and unfortunately for her, she can't just get enough round it to direct it back across Tullis-Joyce and give Arsenal a chance of taking the lead.
Very cool and composed. And the American between the sticks for United. It's all been about the Canadian in the Arsenal shirt in this first half. Katie Reid once more stepping in at the right time. So we have 2 minutes added on at the end of this first 45 minutes. Little. Time perhaps for one last chance to try to break this deadlock. Ford able to capitalise on the slip. Caitlin Ford! Inches wide of that post. Tallis Joyce will argue she had it covered. But Ford, for the first time, able to drift in field.
Huge opportunity for Arsenal. She does so well, and the runners create the space for her. Russo goes around the outside, so does McCabe. But she almost picks the wrong choice. If she goes across Tallis Joyce, she has more opportunity to find that far corner. So it's the execution of the shot that lets her down. But a real let-off for Man United there.
Renee Slagers knows those are the chances that Arsenal really need to capitalise on. As United spring forward themselves with two. Less than 20 seconds remain. Rolfo. Fox nipped in first. Before Caldente clears to safety. Well, it is goalless, but it has not been without its flashpoints. Alessia Russo had the final chance of the first half. She was denied by Tallis Joyce, who similarly produced a fantastic save to tip Olivia Smith's strike onto the crossbar. All of that came after a really early opportunity inside the opening minute for Melvin Mallard, but she was unable to get the better of Daphne van Domselaar. Half-time here at Leigh Sports Village. It's Manchester United 0, Arsenal 0. Welcome back to Leigh Sports Village as we are just about ready to get back underway for the second half. And I was going to say some good news for you, but there are positives and negatives to this particular statistic in that each of the last two meetings between these sides here have ended in a draw. But last November's 1-1 draw was Arsenal's last WSL stalemate 18 games ago. It's been 21 since their last goalless draw before Renee Slagers took over. So we had goal-mouth action aplenty in the first half. Let's hope one of these sides, or both of them, can turn that action into goals in the second. Rolfo finding Toon. Mallard trying to get in behind, just as she did in the opening few seconds of the first half. Again, alongside me for the second is Luke Chambers. Luke, what are you expecting the sides to have changed at half-time, if anything?
Well, I certainly think Manchester United have to be more aggressive, like we're seeing now from Mallard, and she's had 2 occasions inside this first minute where she's really put some pressure on Reed, and that's the second time there. Unfortunately, gives a foul away, but Manchester United have to approach the game with a bit more aggression in terms of how they're pressing the football. At the moment, they've been really passive in their own half when they're defending, which has allowed Arsenal to dominate possession. I think, yes, they've probably had similar amount of chances, but Arsenal certainly have been building the pressure late on in the first half. So I think you'll see now Manchester United have to come and be a bit more on the front foot and try and get further up the pitch.
Here's Ford. Russo ahead of her. Ford decides to go down the byline. Little. Russo forced away from goal. Arsenal still in the ascendancy here. Ford goes again. Won't get there ahead of Mare Letizier. Here's Steph Catley. By Mallard. Ziviotti will pounce to find Miyazawa. A round of applause there from all corners of the stadium in the 47th minute to pay tribute to former WSL manager Matt Beard. Here's Mallard. Park nips away from 2. What will be key for Manchester United in this second half will be getting more runners around Mallard. I know you mentioned it in the first half, Jambo, but Mallard quite often has looked isolated. Players getting around her have perhaps taken that extra second to get there.
Definitely, they need more bodies around her, higher up the pitch. And look now, they're dropping into their shape, and Mallard's isolated up the top on her own. So the turnover is where she causes the issues.
And here she comes now. Melvin Mallard looking to go alone. A well-timed challenge by Steph Catley.
I think that's exactly what we are asking for. Just 2 of the midfielders get higher up the ball, win the ball back, and they're able to just turn that defence into attack here. Just a bit of pressure on Catley, and they lose it with a sloppy ball. First-time ball through the middle, and Mallard's away, but she's putting so much effort into it. She almost runs out of steam on her own. She can't keep trying to take the whole of Arsenal's back 4 on, but she gets her side of corner, and she still carries that threat. But real good defending in the end from Catley.
Excellent recovery challenge from Catley, who has made more interceptions than any other Arsenal player, having been reinvented as a centre-back in the WSL. Driven in this time. Russo underneath that one. 2 out for BZ. No way past Caitlin Ford.
Really good defending in the end by Caitlin Ford, and I think that's what Arsenal have done well. Their 2 wide players and fullbacks have really worked well in the defensive areas. Ford has supported McCabe brilliantly in this left-hand side when United started well down the right, causing them issues.
Caldente. As you can see, Manchester United have been very combative so far. Plenty of tackles won there. The clearances stat, though, is the one that really stands out.
Yeah, and I think that just tells its story there. Arsenal haven't had to do too much defending other than a couple of mishaps here and there. And they've had the majority of the pressure, putting balls in the box, putting balls down the side. So far, Manchester United have held up to the task.
Here's Russo. Saw a shot of the Manchester United injured players, Leah Galton and Millie Turner among them. Millie Turner, thankfully, her injury doesn't look quite as severe as first reported. Extenius. Caldente. Let's go around the outside of Rolfo. Two who know each other very well from their Barcelona days.
Yeah, really solid defending from Rolfo, and that's the first time we've seen her do that. In the first half, I think she almost left Sandberg on her own a little bit too much in that first half to deal with Smith, but that's a real good piece of defending just to slow down Arsenal's attack. And Caldente keeps finding herself out on that right-hand side as well, so she's going to be needed to do that for the rest of the game while she's on the pitch.
Alessia Russo has scored more Arsenal goals than Mariona Caldente under Renee Slagers. Russo 19, Caldente 17. Reed wins the ball back in the United half. Little usually does her best work in those sorts of areas. Her touch uncharacteristically let her down. Tizier under pressure from forward, did well. Skinner's side intent on playing their way out of trouble, just trying to create the spaces, invite the press from Arsenal. We know that they are committed to challenging high up the pitch, as Smith has just demonstrated there. On goes Rolfo. Again, Reed had to watch that one carefully. Through the gears to not only keep up with Mallard, but beat her to the ball. Extenius held her run. Tizier is also quick across the ground. And she had support too from Sandberg.
Just fantastic defending again from Reed. She's playing beyond her years at the moment. For an 18-year-old to be reading the game the way she is, covering round, getting herself in the right position, to then recycle the ball, to then create another angle and get turned and start an attack. She's given a really accomplished performance so far.
So far, nobody in an Arsenal shirt has completed more passes than Katie Reed. Where she has been at her best is that front foot defending. The anticipation to Step in ahead of her marker. Here goes Blackstenius, the offside flag is up.
Yeah, it's just almost a little hopeful ball over the top, and Blackstenius just a little bit lazy in getting back on side, and if she had done, maybe she could have found herself through on goal. But I think it just shows you always have to be ready just any time that ball's bouncing around the halfway line.
It won't be the last time this season that Stina Blackstenius is flagged offside. She does like to play very much on the last defender. It's very difficult for centre-backs to defend against a player like that. That's exactly how Mallard actually was able to find a bit of space in the first half.
But as a defender, that's the last thing you want to do. You'd never want to be running towards your own goal with the ball over your shoulder, and you have to turn, and the striker can just gamble every single time, and that creates the space for everyone else. I think where Man United have fell down is they've had too little support up with Mallard to create any balls that maybe drop down from a centre-back into those number 10 areas.
I do wonder as well just how Mark Skinner will be able to change things. As mentioned, just the 6 outfield options on the bench, 2 of them are teenagers. Elizabeth Turland is perhaps the more obvious change. 2 hat-tricks in Champions League qualifying already this season. Add to that a goal in the WSL too. Ford trying to coax one in towards the combination of Russo and Blackstenius. And this is where communication is key for Katie Reid. Fairly won by Mallard and fairly won by Kim Little. So says Kirsty Dow.
Almost looked like it was 2 separate fouls. But she lets play go on, and Arsenal come away with it.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other. A chorus of boos now ring around this stadium. Arsenal won't mind as Russo tried to get in behind.
I think Reid gets herself in the way, and to be honest, I think it's a foul in the first instance, and I think Little then comes through, wins the ball, but obviously takes a little bit of Mallard at the same time. It's there just as she comes through that left boot. Maybe her shin catches her on the outside of that left ankle, but a real fair challenge in the end.
Talking about changes and the options that Mark Skinner can bring on. Renee Slagers has got a whole host of options on the bench. Stuff that headaches are fueled by, I'm sure. I wonder when she may look to those. Here's Caitlin Ford. Zigiotti in the way first. And then it was Bizet who was able to just relieve a bit of pressure on the Manchester United back line.
Yeah, Bizet's been really solid today for United. And I think she's slotting into that right back area really well. And coming up against someone like Ford, it's a tough ask for her on this right-hand side, but she's dealt with it very, very well. And she's added so much more as well going forward. Most of Manchester United's pressure and areas where they've had their most rewards has been down that right-hand side through her. So really good bit of defending. She's had a real solid first 60 minutes of the match.
Even when she was playing on the wing in the earlier games of this season, she still tops the leaderboards in Manchester United colours for most tackles. She's clearly a player who relishes that side of the game. And she is now. That's a lovely take by Alessia Russo. Trying to find Olivia Smith at the far post. Sandberg again. Tracked her marker very diligently and crucially as well. Park, able to collect on the turn and use that acceleration to speed past Mariona Caldente. Can she be the creative spark that United need? There's the shot from Zigiotti. It was always rising and it wasn't too far away.
Brilliant bit of play from Park, driving forward and just bringing other players into play. And Zigiotti gets a great little touch in between her and Russo, uses her body really well to just guide it and not allow her to nick it off her. And the first touch is brilliant, it just can't keep it under the crossbar. Really encouraging sides there from Manchester United.
Well, she did join the club from Bayern Munich in July, Julia Zigiotti. She played alongside Stina Blackstenius for 2 seasons. Birke Häcken, helping them to win the club's first and only Swedish league title. Not particularly known for her goal scoring, but what an attempt that was. Retrieved by Mallard. The sense that United have been buoyed by that latest foray into the Arsenal half. Mallard's on her bike again through the middle. Zigiotti turned into trouble. Free kick to Manchester United. It's all starting to get a little bit scrappy in those midfield areas. Perhaps a sense of frustration, desperation creeping in. Arsenal, meanwhile, readying the changes. Here come United with Sandberg. Stride for stride, matched by Katie Reid.
Brilliant defending again. Sandberg as well is where we want to see her, down this left-hand side, creating chances for her team. But Katie Reid there has completely read the situation, dealt with it with no problems whatsoever yet again.
Unless a spotted triple substitution at 0-0 from Renee Slagers. Mornham, Kelly and Hines all ready for action. Kelly, who of course missed out last time against West Ham United thanks to a slight knock. She's ready to play the final half hour or so here. It's Mornham coming on in place of Stina Blackstenius. More forward running through midfield, you'd imagine. And that will be the end of Olivia Smith's afternoon as well. How impressive was she during the first half? A bit quieter in the second. It's a very capable substitute in Chloe Kelly. Taylor Hines, meanwhile, on in place of Katie McCabe. There is Hines. First couple of touches for Chloe Kelly.
It's not what you want to have as soon as you come on the pitch, Marnham. Miyagawa just really tight to her. And takes off her boot. Taking a bit of time now to get it back on.
especially when you wear gloves as well, and then have the faff of having to take those. It's a lot of admin.
It certainly is a lot of admin. I'm not sure where the gloves are coming from this beautiful sunny afternoon in Manchester.
Here's Kelly, trying to exploit her pace, but as ever, Anna Sandberg was in the way.
Yeah, certainly asking questions early on. Chloe Kelly down this right-hand side against Sandberg, but again, Sandberg's seen off Smith very, very well. Another challenge for her now, but she started very well. And it's, for me, so far, the game's been dominated by the defensive sides of both teams. The defending that's been on show has been really, really strong.
Here's Park. Arsenal crowd her out. And Tizier had to make that sliding challenge. Reed under a bit of pressure. He does eventually slip, but did enough to win the free kick in the first instance. Oh, having a really tough game against the teenager. She'll try her luck once more. Only to be met by the brick wall that is Kim Little. One back with Frida Morden. A chance to shoot! Always looking for that top corner, Frida Morden. Very nearly making an instant impact from the bench.
Yeah, and it's definitely got sloppy, and you think, oh, the chance has gone because Morden's given the ball away, but she wins it back, settles herself. And it's a really good strike, but she can't keep it on target. It's almost like she strikes across the ball, and it just curls away at the near post. And that's another opportunity to Arsenal to get another chance on target, but it goes begging.
She was on target, I should say, in each of Arsenal's first 2 WSL games this season. Frida Morden scoring against London City Lionesses and West Ham United as well. She's actually seeking her 3rd goal against Manchester United. She did score on the final day last season in the 4-3 win for Arsenal at Emirates Stadium. A very different game to the one that we've seen play out here this afternoon. Tense and cagey. As you can see, very even, ever so slightly tilted Arsenal's way.
Yeah, Manchester United have certainly given a better account of themselves this half in terms of possession and a bit more control on the game.
Nice turn, Taylor Hines. Ford. Here comes the run from Kim Little, who couldn't take it in her stride. It is one of those fixtures in WSL history. Only on 3 occasions has the away team left with all 3 points in this particular matchup. Morgan looking to add another one. Easily read and then cleared by Sandberg. Arsenal have actually won twice here, but not since November 2021. That was 4 visits ago. As I mentioned at the start of this half, each of the last 2 meetings between these 2 sides here have ended in a draw.
Certainly looking like a stalemate at the moment. Like you mentioned, it's a bit of a cagey, really considered approach so far. No one's really throwing too many bodies forward, taking too many risks. It's a little bit scrappy since the substitutions. Lots of turnovers in possession, so it might just be one moment of magic that we need to see inside these next 20 minutes.
Here's Auer, unable to take that one under her spell. Valente, so often the provider of magic in these situations. Kelly's ball, looking for Caitlin Ford, and Thomas Joyce watched it all the way.
It's a fantastic bit of goalkeeping. Just relieves the pressure off everyone. No drama, just collects it nicely. I think we've now got an injury to Bizet down this right-hand corner.
No surprise, really. She has been all action, Celine Bizet. While Bizet does receive the treatment on the pitch, off the pitch, it is a record WSL attendance here at the Sports Valley. The previous record was 8,348. Today, 8,665 supporters in attendance. As ever, it is great to see the ongoing growth of the women's game.
Absolutely brilliant, and if you didn't want to see a better football match this weekend, so closely contested, you could do worse than watching this one this afternoon. I think it's been so well competed at every level and every opportunity. Everyone that's come on the pitch as well has added something to the game. It's been a real tight fixture so far, and I think both sides at the minute, are they happy where it's at? Are they happy with that point? Obviously Chelsea winning earlier this afternoon. It's one of those, if you lose a game, how far off does it leave you?
Well, this is one of the moments of magic, the real quality that we expect to settle a game like this, and it wasn't too far away from Zigiotti. As mentioned, she doesn't score many. That would have been her first in a United shirt. Back to her feet. Elizabeth Turland, one or two players getting ready to come on. We knew it was going to happen at some point. And Lisa Nilsson is also going to provide some fresh legs in midfield too. Be interesting to see whether Turland comes on as a direct replacement for Mallard or whether she joins her in attack. Mallard's had to do lots of work off the ball. I wonder from a fatigue point of view whether she has run her course this afternoon. Certainly be a signal of intent if Skinner does change his formation to two strikers. Hines. Mornham over the top, looking for Chloe Kelly, and again, Sandberg did just enough to distract the on-rushing winger. With a bit of a glancing header onto it to take it into the face of Chloe Kelly, actually.
Yeah, and it's Mornham again, who coming off the bench, and she's made a real impact because she's just given Arsenal that energy. But again, we've mentioned Anna Sandberg all afternoon. She's defended so well, and it's about the distance she has between her marker and her fellow centre-back. It's able to sort of deal with both, cover her partner, but also deal with the ball that's coming in.
Well, that answers that particular question. It is a like-for-like change. Elizabeth Turland coming on, fresh off the back of scoring a hat-trick against Brann just 3 days ago. Lisa Nilsson is also onto the pitch. immediately thrust into the action. Back to Nolson. Around the corner, looking for the return ball. Should say for now, Bizet off the pitch. Ziggiotti, who's going to be doing a stint at right back. Letizia there, who was looking after Alessia Russo.
Yeah, she's another one. I think it's highlighted the strength and depth of these two sides in their centre-back pairings and their defensive options. Letizia again today has been fantastic with and without the ball against two real difficult opponents in Russo. She's kept her very, very quiet alongside Blackstenius.
Reed finding Fox. Goes for the return. Nolson nips in. Having only actually played 31 minutes of WSL football this season. She's given it away. Taylor Hines, challenged by Ziggiotti. It's a committed tackle.
It's really unlucky, Ziggiotti. She's gone in just to try to win the ball, and Hines, to be fair, has got there first. And the letter of the law now is if the Army's in a little bit more of an unnatural position, which could be argued it was. But what an opportunity now for Arsenal.
Harsh though, isn't it? What is Ziggiotti meant to do in that situation?
It's very easy to sort of say outside of a slow motion.
Caldente teasing one in. Back in by Ford. Russo underneath that one, and Chloe Kelly couldn't adjust her body. It was an awkward height. And out safely for the Manchester United goal kick.
Not sure if we can call it a real opportunity. I think it's a half chance. But again, giving a free kick away like that, and a real opportunity for Arsenal to just put the ball on top of the Manchester United back four to defend.
One more change then to Arsenal's front line. Beth Mead replacing Caitlin Ford. Beth Mead has actually got more WSL assists than any other player after the opening 2 match days. 3 in just 2 games. Now in her 10th season with the club, Beth Mead. What it would mean to her to lift another Women's Super League title at the end of the season. Look at the pace here by Emily Fox. Just ran out of space, didn't she, on that far side of the pitch?
Yeah, dealt with well by Miyazawa there. Just covering, sensing the danger, seeing the overlap from Fox.
Caldente. Finds his delivery. Quite get the width round particular cross, but she has been a threat in the WSL for Liverpool especially.
She's certainly added a dimension down this left-hand side since coming on. McCabe did a really good job in that first 60 minutes, but she's adding certain impetus to that left-hand side now she's been off the bench.
10 minutes remaining. Still, United's edging the shots on target stats. Possession fairly equal. Key passes and total shots. Arsenal are leading. But we are still goalless. Or are we? Turland. Katie Reed in the way again. She has been imperious at the heart of this Arsenal defence.
As a fellow centre-back, it has been one of the most accomplished displays from any centre-back, let alone an 18-year-old in a fixture of Manchester United versus Arsenal in the WSL. She hasn't put a foot wrong all afternoon.
She has worked really well with Steph Catley. I imagine the Australia captain just coaching her through the game.
Such a good point, experience as well. Having someone like that alongside you can really settle you into a fixture like this, and they've been fantastic today. And I think that just the thing that's let both sides down today is that final bit of pass, and you see there a mistake, and I know they've worked so hard, and you do tire in these types of games, especially with the mental side of the game, building it up as such a real rivalry between the two sides and what they're both chasing this season. So I think we've been used to them seeing score so many goals, especially in these early fixtures of the season. So they'll be a little bit disappointed with their end product all over the pitch today, both sides.
Well, Arsenal's changes have come in the attacking areas, so naturally Manchester United are going to respond with Gabby George's introduction. Defender who can play anywhere across the back line, but perhaps more naturally suited to left back. If that is the case, she will be up against Chloe Kelly, an international teammate that she knows very well. That is the change. It's Friedlina Rolfo, who's got 83 minutes under her belt in the WSL now. Wasn't really the type of game that she would have wanted it to be in terms of how her attributes are perhaps best suited to this Manchester United team. She had to do a lot of defending, a lot of shadow play. George, though, having played the final 6 minutes of the win over London City Lionesses, gets the final 6 here against Manchester United. She's against Arsenal, I should say. She's a lifelong Manchester United fan. That's a great story as well, having overcome 2 ACL ruptures. It's good to see her out there on the pitch again. Mead. The high boot goes against Zighiotti, who is trying to protest the decision, saying that she pulled her leg away at the crucial moments. Perhaps what Kirsty Down is saying, well, it was there in the first place.
Yeah, it's one of those where you know all you're doing is looking at the ball as the defender, and the advantage comes from the attacker, because it's a little stoop down by Beth Mead, and a little bit of play acting there, so you can see Zighiotti's frustrations, but from the angle of the referee, it's a difficult one for her not to give.
5 minutes remain. Goals we still wait for. Ardente flings it in, and that is commanding goalkeeping by Fallon Tullis-Joyce, who has barely put a foot wrong in this game.
It's a dangerous ball in, but she makes the decision early, works her feet brilliantly, and as a goalkeeper you have to take out everyone, your own teammates, the opposition, and she does it very well in the end.
Won herself through the air, didn't she? No real regard for her own safety, just a case of protecting her goal. I'm sure as a centre-back that's exactly what you want your goalkeeper to do.
You do want it, but you don't want to be on the end of the ones where they come rushing out. just to claim that ball, but she did it very well.
Pressure here on Daphne van Domselaar, and just as we saw in that first half, a misplaced pass at the end of it. I saw you make the gesture there, just to get that press up a bit more, force them into the mistake.
I think Manchester United have missed an opportunity today with that, by allowing Arsenal to have a lot of possession that's unopposed inside their own half. And the two times they've really pressed Van Domselaar today, she's ended up making a mistake. So it's not what every goalie wants. They don't always want that pressure, and it can cause the issues. And look where they are now playing their football.
George's introduction, I should say, means that Sandberg has moved into a more advanced area. Here she is now. Well, a point apiece would leave both of these sides two adrift of Chelsea after 3 games this season. I think an unbeaten start to the campaign is obviously a positive, but the way that we've seen the Women's Super League campaigns go in previous seasons, you can't afford to let Chelsea build up a head of steam. They haven't looked perhaps as good as we've seen them in the past. Chelsea still waiting to build up that momentum. It was just 1 goal that separated them and Leicester City this afternoon. I do wonder whether both of these managers might look back at this game, instead of a point gained, as 2 dropped.
Yeah, I think with that little bit more quality, there could have easily been a winner in the fixture so far. I know we've got some time left, but you mentioned Chelsea, and a sign of a good side is when they're not playing their best or in their full flow, they're still winning games. And I think it was a real opportunity for both sides today to take the 3 points.
And they still be on, as Arsenal look to create down that right-hand side. Kelly. Space for Little. Hines. More direct, and the clearance was too by Letizier. Pounced on by Emily Fox. It's into the path of Taylor Hines, and that is another brilliant challenge by the Manchester United skipper.
And the ones we've been highlighting all afternoon, Reed and Maya Letizier, they've been fantastic. And they're the moments there on the 89th minute, reading the danger for her side as the captain, coming across, taking a hit, but clearing it at the same time, and now just relieving that pressure. And you would imagine that both sides will probably settle for the point. It's a fixture where you don't want to give anything away by mistakes or sloppiness, so maybe be the last opportunity for Arsenal.
It's just the 12th time that these two sides have met in the Women's Super League. Only on 3 previous occasions has it ended in a draw. Loose from Little. Reed there to spare her captain's blushes. We've had 90 minutes. And we will have 6 more. Plenty of time for one of these two sides to come up with something to wrap up all 3 points. Little battling away. Anywhere will do from Van Domselaar. Garcia Russo did strike twice into injury time against West Ham United last time out. She's striding forward through the middle there, but more than unable to nip in ahead of Dominique Janssen. Kelly. No one up there for United. Here's Caldente. Always trusted in these situations to produce something special. Little. Thomas Joyce, grateful when the ball ended up in her palms.
Yeah, it's good patient play from Arsenal. But again, that end product, and Kim Little's been fantastic this afternoon. The way she's took the ball, the way she's broke play up. She's broke herself forward there today in this last 6 added on minutes. But just the final ball into the box has just been lacking all over the pitch.
The United fans want their team to look a bit further forwards. And losing possession there may have left them a bit more exposed at the back. Hines. So again, hoping to be the architect. A loose touch from Chloe Kelly. Well, next up for Mark Skinner is Liverpool away next weekend. A midday kickoff on Merseyside next Sunday. And for Arsenal and Renee Slager's Aston Villa at home on Saturday. Another midday kickoff at the Emirates. Hines slips crucially. But here comes Fox, powering forward and asking far too much of her strikers. Ziotti. Not the simplest of passes for Elatoon to deal with. 2 minutes remaining. It is Manchester United on the front foot. Elatoon going for goal. And Van Domselaar had it covered.
Yeah, good bit of play from Park. Gets it into Toon, and she has a good first touch. Gets it out onto her right-hand side. But again, I think there's so many Arsenal bodies round the shot. It's very difficult for her to get a shot on target from there, and just a little bit of a tired one in the end. I think they've given so much, both of these teams.
Here's a nice moment for Rachel Williams, who has had her own injury issues of late. The 37-year-old is able to come on in place of Anna Sandberg, another defensive player who has really excelled this afternoon up and down that left-hand side. First she had to go up against Olivia Smith, and then it was Chloe Kelly as well. A hard afternoon's work for Sandberg. A well-earned breather, I'm sure. Reed out of position. And here is Williams. Can she make a huge impact on this game? in the final minute. Turland. He's got there ahead of Park. It's been gifted straight back to Williams. Manchester United dialing up the pressure in this final few seconds here, and Gabby George's cross will just nestle on the top of Daphne Van Domselaar's goal.
Good bit of pressure for Manchester United in this last minute, and just that final ball from George. She has a good first touch, gets it outside of her body, and there was enough players in there to have an attempt, but unfortunately couldn't quite get the angle right.
Williams. Toon is their time. Park. Toon's continued her run. And Toon's delivery is away by Steph Catley. Frida Morgan will try to run this one into Manchester United territory. Still no whistle. But there it is. And while both teams preserve their unbeaten starts to the season, there will probably be feelings of what if. They had chances each side to score in this game, but for some fantastic goalkeeping by Fallon Tullis-Joyce and some wasted opportunities by Manchester United, it means it finishes here at Leeds Sports Village. Manchester United 0, Arsenal 0. Well, it was a physical and intense game. Defensively, we were saying, weren't we, all about the concentration, the effort that must have gone into it from that point of view. But it ultimately was a match that lacked the attacking quality.
Yeah, I think both sides carried out both managers' game plans really, really well in terms of getting in the right areas, trying to play in the right areas, trying to play with the right intensity. And it was just every single defender on the pitch and a defensive-minded player performed very, very well this afternoon, and we kept going on all afternoon about Reed for Arsenal, 18 years old, tremendous performance, keeping Mallard quiet. Was a fantastic start to the season.
It does mean that both of these sides are now 2 points behind Chelsea at the top of the Women's Super League. As mentioned, the unbeaten record for each of them is preserved, but they certainly would have been wanting more from this game. Alessia Russo, we didn't see the best of her. The chances were few and far between, but she was able to sting the palms of Fallon Tullis-Joyce in the Manchester United goal. As Luke Chambers alongside me rightly said, this was a game all about the defenders who really excelled. You just see the togetherness here from both of the two sides, especially in the wake of what has happened in the last 24 hours. The importance of togetherness and being there for each other, more important than ever. Relatively even then from a match stats point of view, which is reflective of the scoreline, of course.
Yeah, really even game against two really good sides. Physical battle, real good concentration, but it shows in the clearances from Manchester United that Arsenal had the majority of possession in the attacking third. So it was a chance for them to take, but they just couldn't have enough quality, didn't have enough quality on the day for them to take 3 points.
As you can see there as well, very physical game, but refereed by Kirsty Dow in a nice way. No yellow cards, that's what we like to see. Keep the game running. Let's take a look then at the key moments from this game, starting with this cross, which wasn't dealt with by Daphne Van Domselaar. And after Ella Toon's shot was shut down, there was Jess Park on the follow-up. They still had enough players back in the way.
Yeah, it's just a little slip from Van Domselaar. She recovers well, Reed makes the block and then reacts again. Unfortunately for Arsenal, it falls back into Domselaar's legs and she just smothers it, and everyone breathes a sigh of relief.
Arsenal then at the other end, following this corner routine, are able to get their best chance of the game. And it was Mariona Caldente drifting in field, causing problems and finding Olivia Smith. And a £1 million signing, rattling the frame of the goal. And it was only on the second watch that we realised Tullis Joyce had got a vital fingertip to it.
Yeah, and it was a great strike from the biggest threat for Arsenal in the first half. The first touch is great, the strike's fantastic, but the save is even better.
She was millimetres away from her second goal for Arsenal since joining from Liverpool, Olivia Smith. And then Caitlin Ford started to get involved that bit more, combining here with Mariona Caldente and then able to drift inside from the left-hand flank. Unlucky to see her effort drift wide.
Yeah, and it was good play down this side, and she stepped inside and she's just looking for the strike and just drags it wide of this near post, and she was so frustrated, and you see here a reaction. Real opportunity for Arsenal.
In the second half, Manchester United, just as they did in the first, were able to come out of the blocks that bit faster. Just Park laying it off for Ella Toon. And then here was the opportunity. Ziggiotti leaning back as she took on the strike, which flew over the crossbar.
Almost a similar chance for Smiths for Arsenal in the first half, but she just couldn't find the target.
Arsenal then slipped on the left-hand side, and Malvin Mallard then took a dive herself, which allowed Arsenal to try to work it to the right-hand side. Frida Morland making amends here for her misplaced pass, very nearly finding the top corner.
Yeah, and I think that was just a great reaction from her to then to go and win the ball back. As she gets it out her feet, settles herself. But the strike has got great power on it, but just slices across it, which drives it outside that near post.
Manchester United insisting on playing their way out from the back, and here is where they were able to get themselves forward late on in the game. Ella Toon found by Park, and that wasn't one of her better attempts.
And Ella Toon covered so much ground for Manchester United this afternoon, and I think it was just one strike too far. She almost tries to curl it instead of maybe trying to drive through the ball, but disappointment for her and Manchester United.
Well, let's take a look then at the impact that has on the league standings. As you can see, Chelsea lead the way. 3 successive wins to start the season. The reigning champions look to be onto another good thing under Sonia von Pastor. For Manchester United and Arsenal, well, no difference in their goal difference. United still above Arsenal. And as you can see, the two sides yet to register a point in the WSL at the bottom of the table, Liverpool and West Ham United. Well, let's then hear from the player of the match today, and it's Manchester United's goalkeeper, Fallon Tullis Joyce.
Well, Fallon, that game had just about everything apart from a goal. What was it like to play in?
Very, very intense game. Great game by both sides, but I just have to say that I'm so proud of my team, especially after that 5-game stretch. We really came out here, gritted it out, and I'm so proud of my teammates.
Arsenal only had 1 shot on target in the game. Did that surprise you, or did you feel like they were keeping you quite busy anyway?
They're very good with their services, so they kept us busy with the crosses. But again, that's just a testament to our defensive line and everyone above them, just putting in the work and keeping them to just 1 shot in the game.
Does it feel almost a disappointment to just come away with a draw today? And if so, is that a sign of how far this club has come?
Man, we just made it through to past the qualifiers of Champions League, so we're very happy right now. Sure, we can put some more in the net, but I'm very, very happy for my teammates for this moment right now. It's just to show how far we've come and how far we'll keep going.
In fact, you touched on the fact you won in Europe midweek. You're unbeaten in the league. How would you sum up the start of the season so far? Almost perfect.
Yeah, rapid fire. That's how I would sum it up. You know, we just had to strap on our boots and get ready to go. But yeah, I'm thrilled to be here. It's a good problem to have.
Well, look, you are the Barclays player of the match. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you to everyone.
Well, she was excellent this afternoon, as she was for the majority of last season as well, Fallon Tullis Joyce. And she really played her part here to keep the score down, as it was yet another stalemate between Arsenal and Manchester United on United's turf. It finishes here, Manchester United 0, Arsenal 0.
Yeah, real good performance by both sides, just lacking that attacking quality in that final third to take the chances that they created. And I think both sides, in the end, with what they've both gone through for the start of the season, especially Manchester United, with the amount of games they've had to play, both sides will have settled for that after such an intense 90 minutes.
Well, it has been fast this start of the season for Manchester United. Arsenal did battle away, but they have to settle for a point apiece. Final score here is Manchester United 0, Arsenal 0.